back to the Seiji Bard podcast, where we are down to business, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So today we've got an interesting topic for you guys, and we debated a number of different titles. I thought was it Slamazon was going to be an appropriate title, but we have decided on how Amazon finishes the competition. So we're
There it
looking at
is.
Amazon as it relates to UPS, FedEx, and some other topics that I think that you guys might be interested in.
Yeah, I really think you guys definitely stick around because this is going to be a good one. I think you guys are going to like this because we really like this topic. We're going to get into some crazy stuff with Amazon and how Amazon can actually finish everyone off. Literally finish off the competition. And so stick around, definitely like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We want to build up our subscriber base, and let's get into it. So Seiji, once again, this is Seiji Bard Podcast. I'm Bard,
And I'm Seiji.
all right, let's so we're gonna bring this up here. This is how Amazon finishes UPS and FedEx, but truthfully it's so much broader than this, and you're gonna, by the end of this recording, you're gonna see how this company is a threat and how and why it's so obvious that the FTC is going to have to step in. They've already stepped in. Didn't we just we did something on this just recently, right? Where the FTC is suing Amazon?
Yeah.
So they're stepping in. So we're going to talk about this real quick. How did this come up? I'm interested in aviation. You guys, I've studied aviation. I, trained to be a commercial pilot. Took a break. Planning on getting back in here very soon. So I was following one of my aviation channels, and there's a pilot that I follow. He flies 747s, and at the moment he's a cargo pilot. Okay, I forgot what airline he works for. It doesn't really matter, but he's a cargo pilot. What he was talking about was the fact that cargo pilots are now being told to go fly for commercial pilots because there's no work. Okay, which is crazy because cargo was booming. It was typically where the work was, despite what was happening with passenger airlines. Cargo was always moving because people are always buying stuff, right? So what was happening was, so he was attempting to use it as an economic indicator, which is kind of smart. What do you think about that, Seiji? It's kind of smart, but he didn't really incorporate in Amazon. And right after I watched his video, I saw the truth when it came to Amazon. And here we have it on screen. Amazon is the new shipping king.
Yep.
Let's get into it. So
what's really fascinating with these numbers that we're looking at Amazon as a shipping king, you're looking at the combined amount of packages that Amazon's shipping at about 6 billion packages, or 6 billion packages versus a combined 8 billion packages for 8 billion packages. So notice one thing, that was 8 billion packages for UPS, the former king of shipping, and FedEx combined at the end of 2022. At the end of 2023, you've got 6 billion packages shipped for Amazon. So Amazon is probably at 6 billion. It's safe to say that UPS and FedEx are at maybe a combined 8 billion, maybe a little bit less now, 7.5. In one more year, Amazon's probably going to be at 7 billion packages, and FedEx and UPS might have lost some of their share even further. You might be at 7 billion to 7 billion.
They're going to go down if they change nothing. If they change nothing in their business plan, and I don't think they have an answer for Amazon at this moment. There is no answer.
No.
Because fuel costs, look, okay, forget about fuel costs. Why is Amazon winning? Let's talk about that. There was a time where FedEx used to do shipping for Amazon. I don't know if you guys remember this. FedEx was doing the air cargo for Amazon. FedEx started to freak out because they saw where this was heading. And guess what FedEx started to do? They cut ties with Amazon. So what did Jeff Bezos do? Jeff Bezos put out a call basically for companies who wanted to work with Amazon, to contract with Amazon to do deliveries. And guess what? People stepped up. They're like, oh, of course we're going to step up and make, a couple million running logistics for Amazon. And Amazon probably set up all the computers and stuff for them and gave them the devices. And all they have to do is get the drivers and manage that aspect of it and get the vehicles. So, guys, what we're witnessing is insane. We have a company that is literally about to lap UPS and FedEx in terms of parcel volume. They're on track to do more than both of the biggest global players. Well, in the United States, at least, we have DHL, that's a major player. But both of these major players, they're on track to do more. Look at Amazon's growth curve.
Yeah, you're going from 2 billion in 2019 to 6 billion in 2023. The other thing I want to point out, though, is with DHL is not really as much. It seems to me, I could be wrong, that it's less of a shipper of like packages and more of like documents.
Interesting. We should look up DHL and parcels, what they're moving. That'd be an interesting thing. But there's a reason why DHL is not on this chart, right? I would imagine there's a reason why they're not here. But I mean, look at this. In 2019, Amazon was at 2 billion, which is still amazing. And then they literally passed FedEx that next year with a little over 3 billion. And then they caught up to UPS in 2022 and passed UPS in 2023. This is insanity. And it's going to continue. And here's why. Amazon is shipping and delivering all of their own products. Everything. Yep. They're taking money. Well, okay, I can't really say they're taking money out of everyone else's mouths, because if you look at FedEx is roughly from 2019 to 2022, they have increased a tiny bit despite Amazon's growth. Now, we could argue that FedEx, the reason why they haven't, we could argue that the reason why they haven't really tanked and they've kind of stayed stagnant is FedEx, once they canceled contracts with Amazon as their shipper, they started to get into the fulfillment game. Amazon is fulfilling. They're trying to do battle with FedEx is fulfilling. They're trying to do battle with Amazon. So you can now ship your stuff to FedEx and they will hold on to it and then they will fulfill it. They're doing what Amazon does. So FedEx is trying to stay alive, guys. And they are. But they're not growing. That's the problem. And in addition, I think they know that they're going to be losing, because we have an article where it talks about FedEx pilots. Maybe we should get to that. Let's get to that here.
Well, just to go back, I looked up the numbers on DHL. They deliver about 1.7 billion packages a year.
Okay, so they're a contender, but they're at the bottom, right?
Correct.
but they're still in there. 1.7 is nothing to sneeze at. That's not
Nothing to
that's
sneeze at.
it's still significant. So, but here's the thing. Let's move on to the next slide because this is interesting. Business Insider, and this was all over the news. This is not just Business Insider. Yahoo had it, NBC, everyone had this. Air freight demand has cooled so much, FedEx is telling its pilots to fly for American Airlines instead. This is nuts. This is nuts. And you guys, if you don't understand aviation, most people won't. And I'm gonna explain this to you. In aviation, okay, here we got to get into this article. I'll show you why this is important. Let's continue.
Well, it's really interesting too because we do know that shipping has slowed because even when you're looking at semi trucks, they're not as profitable. Drivers aren't getting as much work, and hence salaries or wages have gone down for truck drivers. Investing in semi trucks is not as profitable as it was about 2 years ago or 15 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing a lot less ads about that. I mean, of course, it's still profitable, but not nearly as much as it was.
Yeah, it's really taken a hit. And I don't understand it completely. I don't know if Amazon has anything to do with it because Amazon's making a ton of money. They're shipping stuff. Their shipping is out off the charts. So initially, one could argue that, well, maybe that money's going to Amazon. It looks like it by the chart, but I really don't know. I can't say that for sure, but it's a possibility. But we know that Amazon doesn't ship everything that trucking companies ship. Trucking companies ship some heavy things sometimes. Why is it going down for trucking companies? We could argue that there are a ton of people getting into trucking at the moment. So it could be too many trucks on the road and they're all fighting for the same, things. That could be it because remember a couple years ago there was a trucking shortage, right?
Yes.
There was a shortage of drivers.
And it was exacerbated significantly by the whole COVID-19 crisis because you weren't allowed to leave your house for a lot of people unless you were an essential worker.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what's going on with the trucking industry, but we're going to talk about this freight here. We're going to get back to this article, Business Insider. If we look at all right, so let's go to the middle part of the article. Now, demand for air cargo has slowed so much that logistics giant FedEx, and I like how they refer to them as a logistics company because that's what they are. These guys, they focus on logistics, and that's what Amazon is as well. But they're big data they're big data and logistics and delivery, which is where the sauce is. That's where the real sauce is. So logistics giants FedEx is encouraging its pilots to apply for a job with PSA Airlines. Guys, let me explain this to you. A regional carrier unit of American Airlines. Guys, in aviation, PSA Airlines is like junior varsity to sports. It's where pilots get their first jobs.
It's like AAA.
Yeah, it's where pilots get their first jobs. It is. Pilots want to work for the big leagues, American Airlines, FedEx, and cargo. Now, let me explain something to you. In cargo is one of the holy grails of aviation in terms of making money. High six-figure earners, okay? Double-digit six figures and more starting. And you don't have to deal with all the fights in the back of the plane, right? And the emergency landings and all that stuff. So cargo is the holy grail. That's where guys want to go. Oftentimes what will happen is, from what I've learned, pilots will move from passenger airlines, the big boys, to cargo. Okay. That's usually the trajectory.
I did not know that. I never knew that people wanted to go from passenger. I mean, I always figured if you were flying passengers, you got paid better than cargo pilots.
Cargo pilots on average, FedEx, UPS, 230,000. That's what they're making.
So they're basically making as much as, or significantly more than a primary care physician.
Significantly more. Now, when it comes to
Well,
be able
that
to make,
kind of makes sense because they're flying a very expensive piece of equipment, you know. So
yeah, and what you're doing is highly technical.
you have to have highly technical and highly intelligent people flying planes because we don't need those going into any buildings.
Exactly. We don't want missiles, you know. So now cargo is very, it's the holy grail, one of the holy grails. So anyway, without getting into aviation too much, which I love, for FedEx, which is the holy grail, it's like going from the NBA to college basketball with PSA Airlines. That's how it was. So the nature of, it's almost like the nature of the business is changing. PSA Airlines was where you got your start. Pilots couldn't wait to get out of the regional airlines, right? Where you're flying from city to city, Sacramento to Vegas, Vegas to LA, whatever. Regional airlines, you can fly and be home the same day. You don't have to be trekking across the country. So now, here's why this is incredible, because let's continue. Let me show you this next slide. Highlighted portion. PSA Airlines is offering FedEx pilots $250,000 in sign-on bonuses.
Bard, that is extra motivating. Makes me want to be a pilot.
Extra, I know, right? Super extra motivating. Guys, you don't understand. These regional carriers were paying their pilots like 50 grand a few years ago, 60 grand. Pilots would have to scrape by, pay their dues for 2 to 3 years, as much as 5 or 6 years to get to the majors. Now that you're in the majors, now you're earning 6 figures, and now you can start to pull. And see, the thing is even before the bargaining that just happened recently with the unions, a typical captain of an airline flying for like American was making like 170,000, which is great. But now, guys, 40% increase in salaries. Some of these captains are making over 300 grand now. Okay. Now, this isn't all about airlines. This is about what Amazon's doing. So what they're doing is, if we go back, Amazon has changed FedEx's business model so much that FedEx is, yes, what you need to understand is we are in a massive pilot shortage. And I'll show you this. It's on the next slide.
Well, it's actually interesting because you're in a pilot shortage because pilot compensation was so bad for the last 10 years that people got out of it. And now it's turned around because it's a basic supply and demand problem.
It's a supply and demand. And we are short. Can you look up real quick how many pilots the United States needs? I want to say it's like 100,000. It's ridiculous. It's definitely a big number. How many pilots do we need at the moment in the United States? Because what's happening is a ton of pilots are retiring. So these airlines need to replace pilots, and they have a bunch of routes they want to run to make money because there is the demand and they have the airplanes, but they don't have pilots. Okay. So what's happening is, it
says that they're short 10,000 pilots, and the supply demand gap is projected to last until 2027.
All right, 10,000 pilots. Okay, so I was wrong. And maybe it's 100,000 globally.
Well, here's the thing: it doesn't really matter. 10,000 pilots, because of the training requirements and the cost to do this. It's not like you could just mass produce and crank out a bunch of pilots anytime soon. It's like a physician shortage.
Right. And that's even more severe because you gotta wait a long time for these people to.
And what they're saying here is the shortage has resulted in fewer flights to some of the smallest cities across the U.S.
Yep.
Major carriers like American Airlines, Delta Airlines, and United have acknowledged this issue, and so then they've been canceling flights to a lot of these smaller towns, which is really problematic for the people who are living there and now depend on much more rapid airlines. One of the other things that this is COVID-19 has exacerbated this as well, because so many people left larger metropolitan areas to move to these smaller areas. Now with the pilot shortage, they can't get back to work or get back into places when they need to. So then what I quoted was 10,000, and that was from a place, 10,000 pilot shortage. But there's another one from Travel Weekly that says that in North America, they're down by 14,300 pilots. So
you see what I mean?
Obviously the numbers are all over, but the point is there is a very significant shortage in airline pilots, because here's another one. It's saying that North America will be short nearly 30,000 pilots by 2032. And that's by another...
was that 9 years from now?
Yeah.
And a lot of those numbers coming from people retiring.
Well, here you go. Here's another one. In the next 20 airlines, this is from Statista. In the next 20 years, airlines in North America alone are going to need around 130,000 new pilots.
That's probably the number I was thinking about. There it is. That's probably what I saw, because I knew it was a ridiculously high number. And I know all over the planet they need pilots. Let me say this: American
pilot for North America. That's just for North America.
That's just North America, dude. Let me tell you something.
2043.
Let me tell you something. Let's say you become a pilot, right? Let's say you want to go live in Asia. You can fly in China. You can be left seat captain. They will pay you, I think, for a 6-month contract. It's something like $190,000. 6 months. You do 6 months and you have 6 months off. $190K.
Wow.
And then if you do a full year, it's like 200 and something. So what was happening was, in America, pilots were going overseas to fly. They were going over to the UAE, to the Emirates, and they were flying over there and getting these big contracts, where in America, they were trying to slave them out through the regional carriers, right? So pilots weren't. So you could go from the regional carrier making 80,000 to making 200,000 with Emirates. And a lot of people want to go live overseas in, Dubai anyway. Dubai is kind of hot these days, so they wanted to go live over there anyway. So now you're introducing competition. So going back to Amazon, guys. So we got a lot to talk about. So we could talk. Maybe we could do a whole video on aviation later and the pilots. But let's continue with our slideshow. So essentially, what's happening, before we get into what's happening with the malls, what Amazon's doing with the malls, Amazon is flying. They have a bunch of planes, and Amazon is buying a bunch of planes, and you'll see on the planes it will say Prime. Amazon is running their own air cargo, and they're doing this because they don't want to pay FedEx. Well, FedEx dropped them, and they don't want to pay other companies to do what they can do. They have enough money, and they're buying these cargo planes, and they're running their own shipments.
But the reason FedEx dropped them was because they anticipated this day coming.
Exactly.
Amazon is savage. They
are savage.
And to highlight how savage they are, the malls that they destroyed, they're now jumping in and trying to buy.
Right. This is a funny little book.
They're not trying to buy. They're successfully buying them.
And think about this. It's such a, I don't know if they game this out from the beginning. Okay, cool. We're going to destroy these malls, right? And then once they're fully destroyed, then we're going to go back and buy them for pennies on the dollar. I don't know if this is something they gamed out. Maybe at some point they realize, oh, we're destroying malls. Great. Well, maybe we can loop back around and buy them up. But either way, it's happening. Let's get into this little article here. NBC, between 2016 and 2019, Amazon converted about 25 shopping malls, according to an analysis by CoreSite Research. Last year, it was reportedly in talks with Simon Property Group, the country's biggest mall owner, to convert bankrupt JCPenney and Sears department stores into fulfillment centers. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This part of the article, Target and Walmart have also turned some space in their own stores into mini fulfillment centers. Guys, why are they mentioning Target and Walmart? Do you guys know what's happening here? Why they're even bothering to mention these two? Guys, there's an interview that you need to watch with the president of JCPenney, which is basically going bankrupt. But what he's talking about is he's showing you the data on how Target and Walmart are catching up to Amazon at their own game. Amazon's real killer moment is when they introduced 1 day or 2 day shipping, right? But Amazon didn't have the brick and mortar, they didn't have the physical locations to do what Walmart and Target are doing. So what's Walmart and Target doing? You can go on Walmart or Target's website, order, and pick up in the store. This is what Amazon wasn't able to do. So what did Amazon do? Do you remember when they bought Kohl's? Amazon started buying brick and mortar, which is what they had.
Did you say Amazon owns Kohl's?
I believe they own Kohl's. Look it up. And they also bought Whole Foods. They also bought Whole Foods. So Amazon started buying brick and mortar. And then they started to use their brick and mortar locations to now do same day fulfillment and pickups. So they're trying to compete with Walmart and Target, but Walmart and Target have been chipping away at Amazon's market share. And what was interesting is that Jeff Bezos, I think this happened within the last year, came out and admitted Amazon may not be number one always. Something to that effect. Okay. He admitted that other people are chipping away successfully. And guess who? It's the legacy stores, Target, Walmart.
It looks like
all right, so
router and Echo device. So try
no
restarting them.
So Walmart is a giant when it comes to retail, right?
Connected to the internet. Plug in the Echo device.
She's talkative. What's going on there? Walmart is, that was a lot. She had a lot to say. Walmart is a retail giant, guys. And no one knows retail the way Walmart knows retail. They move numbers like it's no one's business, okay? They do it better than anyone else. Now, Walmart has figured out a way to chip away at Amazon, and so did Target. And the secret is the hybrid model. What's hybrid? It's a mix of online and brick and mortar store. The combination. So order online, pick up same day. So technically, you don't have to wait for an Amazon delivery truck to roll around and to have your stuff pirated off your porch. You can order and then pick up in the store. There you go. So they're pioneering the hybrid model. So guess what's happening? Another interesting data point is starting to come into play. Amazon started to kill malls, right? So we have this article up on the screen. Amazon's responsible for killing malls to a large extent. But guess what? it's going full circle. Stores that started on Amazon are now opening physical locations. Where Seiji? In malls.
In Amazon owned malls.
In malls that they're now starting to buy. So, guys, what we're showing you is how Amazon has now, we're going to show you the path to how Amazon can finish everyone off. And you want to listen to this because this is actually pretty crazy. We were taking some notes on this and talking about this before we got on this on the recording. So stores, so what's happening is in these malls, a new crop of stores are popping up. But the secret is these stores were started on Amazon. So what's happening is this hybrid model is now starting to manifest in shopping malls. Now, Seiji, what's cooler? We talked about this, but to the audience, what's cooler? A shopping mall or Walmart or Target?
Oh, a shopping mall. I mean, it's definitely the way to go. But when we're talking about this, just so you know, I have a friend, one of my best friends, his wife works, they live in Georgia, and about 45 minutes from Atlanta. Mm-hmm. In Georgia and in the South, Walmart has got into the dental business. So they have
interesting.
they don't own the dental practices. Mm-hmm. But they are involved with these dental practices, and they're the cheapest way to get your dental care. Now, could you imagine we're seeing this already. You see Spectrum or Charter at the mall. Mm-hmm. In the future, these Amazon-owned malls, you could find them hiring doctors and having a whole treatment facility and having an Amazon doctor. I mean,
absolutely.
You can get your medications that way. You could use the mall. These Amazon malls are places where you are able to shop. It, for all intents and purposes, could become an Amazon waiting mall. Basically, you're waiting for your doctors, you're waiting for outpatient treatment. All of this could be done in an Amazon facility.
And here's the beauty of it. You can do same. Okay, so let me talk about Walmart and Target. So they have Target. I don't know about Walmart. I don't know about Target. Walmart has a partner program where you can sell your products on Walmart.com, which is huge. Yep. So you're getting to take advantage of this really valuable online real estate. And if you get accepted, you can sell through Walmart.com, and Walmart will move units for you, hands down. Okay. So, but that's cool for same day pickup and fulfillment and businesses and that kind of thing. But the mall is where people want to be, because you've got restaurants, you can walk around and look at all the stores, and you've got, I mean, not many people shop for clothing at Walmart. There are some people who do, but when people are serious about clothes that they're buying for work or for dressing up, for going out on the weekends, even for suits and stuff, the mall is usually where you go. You go to a Macy's or, a Nordstrom's or, Nordstrom Rack. And this is where you find, serious items that you can wear. Walmart doesn't sell some of this stuff. And so now what Jeff Bezos is doing by buying up these malls and using them for distribution centers, and also the malls that are still open and doing well, they are slowly changing. They're changing into stores that once started on Amazon. So they're turning into this hybrid model. All right. So we have that. So that's how Amazon's winning in that respect. So that's how they're going to finish. I believe they're going to ultimately maintain market share over Walmart and Target when it comes to fulfillment. I believe they're going to have a dominant, in terms of clothing and stuff like that. People will be able to order online and then pick up at some of these favorite stores that, you know, that are big on Amazon. And the thing is they can put them in all the malls across the country. So what happens is we get a win-win, guys. We get to save our malls. The malls have just changed ownership to Amazon. We get to save our malls, and now we get a bunch of new stores. So I think it's pretty cool. We went through a transition period where we weren't sure what was going to happen with the malls, but now we have sort of a vision. Good.
You need to repurpose malls so that they're actually useful to a modern generation.
Right.
Because we need to turn malls back into a place where people want to hang out again. For example, one of the reasons I opened an account at US Bank is because in Redlands, in Southern California, US Bank, unlike the other major banks, was open until 7 p.m. And
Interesting.
it makes way more sense for me to have a bank that's open when I'm available to go into a bank rather than get into a bank like Citibank by 4:30 or 5 o'clock because, well, those are work hours. I'm not going to spend my time during work to go into the bank. So it's the same thing with this whole mall concept. Malls and hopefully Amazon there's a lot of good things and bad things. And like we said earlier, a good leader of a company needs to make sure that they have a virtual monopoly and not a real monopoly so
Right.
that they can avoid regulation by government and other civilian, by the government as much as possible.
Exactly. You want to get as close to the line as possible without crossing that line.
Yeah, and to go back to what you said, Amazon and Jeff Bezos is very wise. I think that Bezos does an excellent job because he clearly understands that the only constant is change, as I've repeated a number of times.
Right.
If the only constant is change. He knows that Amazon's time in the sun in its current form might be for just a little while. But if you can transform the company into a different type of octopus with its arms in different businesses, well, you can continue on indefinitely, just like Standard Oil and Rockefeller.
Exactly. And in one of the articles, I don't know if I have it on the slideshow, but guys, to our audience, they referred to Amazon as the everything store.
Yeah.
The everything business. And it's true. They're getting into everything. Guys, who saw 10 years ago, who saw Amazon owning jetliners, cargo planes? Who saw that?
Everywhere you look, you see an Amazon truck, and now they're into electric trucks. That makes Greta Thunberg so much happier.
Oh, she's jumping with joy. Jumping for joy. Yeah, they have a deal with Rivian.
Yep.
Who else? And those trucks look pretty cool. They look futuristic.
Amazon trucks, Amazon planes, Amazon malls.
I know.
I'm not talking about virtual malls. We're talking
real
about
malls.
Actual retail space.
Retail space. So we're saving the mall, which is great.
Amazon movies.
Amazon's doing movies, guys. They have a film industry. Oh my God. The everything store. They literally are the everything store. Pretty soon they're probably going to be doing probably going to have a record company. So let's move into the next. Let's do this. Let's go through some of these slides. I think that is the last slide. Let's do this. Let's put us back here on the screen. So check this out. Here's where Amazon could move. Because here's the thing. Amazon behaves like a nonprofit in certain ways. They don't stick to one thing and just say this is our business. And when I think nonprofit, I'm thinking about a special hospital system that is literally buying everything up, and they have to spend this money being a nonprofit. So Amazon is getting into everything, and here's where I can see them getting into next. So, guys, imagine this. Imagine Amazon, now that they have brick and mortar, now that they have mall space, now that they're buying all this brick and mortar. Imagine Amazon setting up Amazon shipping to compete directly with UPS and FedEx. Amazon has the logistics down. They do it very well. They have 1-day shipping. All Amazon would have to do is now set up storefronts in Kohl's, in Whole Foods, in the malls that they own, that they're owning and they're continuing to buy up. And they could also lease space in other businesses where people could go in and ship products. And then they would have Amazon trucks pick it up. Guys, they would finish off UPS and FedEx. They would finish them off because UPS is a one-trick pony. FedEx is desperately trying to morph and change itself into a fulfillment type of business like what Amazon is. I'm not sure how successful they are. I don't really see their success yet, but that could change with time. But Amazon is about to do numbers in terms of shipping parcels. They're about to do what UPS and FedEx are doing together combined. Imagine if they were to open storefronts and start to ship not just stuff that people buy from Amazon, but everything. Imagine that. And imagine if they included it in a Prime membership, some sort of discount for this. Oh my God. Do you understand what would happen to UPS? Do you know how many Prime customers do they have? Can you look that up real quick? Just real quick.
Yep.
Guys, do you understand? I'm trying to show you how Amazon is literally the Kraken, and they are literally going to destroy. They have the potential, and especially after they see this, if anyone sees this video and clips it and passes it on, and they get wind of this, guys, Amazon has the potential to destroy. They're already beating UPS and FedEx at their game. They have the potential to finish them off now. Finish him.
Here you go. This is a mind-blowing number.
Give it to us.
200 million. This was from October 3. Approximately 200 million Amazon Prime members. And this is from August 23. Amazon has 148.6 million Amazon Prime customers or members in the US.
Now,
an increase of 49% from 99.7 million in 2017.
Dude, check this out. So, Amazon offers discounts and specials through Prime. I can't name them right now. Can you name a few maybe? Can you look at it?
Repeat
but
that
if you
again?
sign up with Prime, there's perks. There's a ton of perks. Imagine if shipping was one of them. Non-Amazon bought items. Guys, even without the Prime perks, they could compete in logistics with UPS and FedEx because they're doing it now. They're doing it now and they're winning. Imagine if they offered a massive discount to businesses who wanted to ship products. UPS would be done. FedEx would be done. DHL is done because Amazon's in other countries now. Guys, they are going to finish these businesses off. Jeff Bezos is going to take all the money. I don't think people understand how incredibly dangerous this company is to everything, to everyone. Let's get into the next thing. So we've talked about that. Now let's get into Uber. Guys, Amazon is a logistics company. Moving packages and moving people is the same thing. Moving packages is probably harder than moving people. Let's say now, has Amazon demonstrated their ability to partner with third parties in terms of moving freight? Absolutely. We see it. I had a friend that was telling me about a buddy of his who has he's making a ton of money. He has a bunch of trucks and he's contracted with Amazon. Guys, how hard would it be Let me look in the camera. How hard would it be for Amazon to create an Uber styled app to compete with Uber in everything Uber does in logistics? Uber's moving people, Amazon's moving packages. Moving people is way easier. People are typically going from point A to point B in a city. Packages are going across the planet. Guys, if Bezos wanted to get into the Uber space and if he wanted to use Amazon Prime membership to offer discounts, oh my God.
Well, I mean,
Uber
ultimately,
would be
what you're talking
finished.
about is the ability, in some ways, to be able to pick up packages and then drop packages, third-party packages. So what you're able to do is get rid of the Craigslist, get rid of the offer ups, and
Mm-hmm.
have something that's even better than Facebook Marketplace, because you're able to turn any place where you already have a delivery network into a large virtual yard sale.
Exactly.
So it's like a big swap meet.
It's a giant swap meet. And not only that, you mentioned Seiji, you mentioned offer up. Guys, we were talking about planes and trucks, right? Amazon has drones now. They have drones. They are literally going to DDT the world. The world. Everyone's going to get DDT'd. My bet is that Amazon destroys FedEx and UPS. I think those guys, I don't think they're going to completely disappear, but they are going to fade.
Well, I
into
wonder
the
how long it
background.
is before you have people like Greta Thunberg and AOC that are saying that this is better for the planet because you don't have to drive if you have a company that's more green and has electric, vehicles like Rivian or electric
There it
trucks, or
is. Thank you.
perhaps restart the transatlantic slave trade and
Yes.
and then just
Right.
have a bunch of growers because it's better for the environment.
Dude, let me say something. And okay, if Amazon comes out with an app to compete with Uber, we already know they can compete with Uber, no problem, because they have all the Prime users, right? They could offer Prime users, guys. If you have a Prime membership, your ride, they could make it so that your ride would be less than Uber because you're already paying monthly for Prime and you don't even know what you're paying for. Like literally, they could make it so that your ride is less than Uber. They could destroy Uber. Is Uber even profitable? Uber may not even be profitable at this moment. They may not even be profitable, and they really don't even have heavy competition. They have Lyft. Uber could be completely destroyed if Amazon were to get into this business. I'm telling you guys, people don't understand how dangerous Amazon is until they come in and clean out your business. I'm telling you guys, now let's move on. Let's talk about the giant marketplace. You mentioned Facebook Marketplace. We mentioned OfferUp. Guys, Amazon has a drone program where they're going to have a blimp in the sky in major cities, and the drones will be going into the blimp, getting product packages and delivering those to people on the ground. This is real. This isn't Star Trek. This isn't fake news. This is a real thing they are deploying now. Does Facebook have this? Does OfferUp have this? These companies, I seriously, they're going to fall into the background. Facebook Marketplace may disappear. They may only be good for real estate, rentals, and stuff like that. But and selling cars. But when it comes to physical items, which probably make up, I don't know what part of Facebook Marketplace, let's just guess 50%. When that 50% could potentially be gone to Amazon. So just imagine, let's paint a picture for you guys. Let's say you have a device you want to sell, right? Let's say you have a cell phone. You want to sell a cell phone. Typically, let's say you put it on OfferUp, right? You put it on OfferUp, you have to go meet someone who could rob you, right? You have to go meet someone to sell the cell phone and do a cash exchange or cash app exchange. Now, with Amazon, you put the phone on there. You could literally get same day delivery of this cell phone through a drone, possibly. You could pick it up in maybe a Kohl's. And what this does is this eliminates the necessity to meet a complete stranger who could rob you. And let's be honest, a lot of criminals were targeting people this way on Craigslist, on OfferUp. Yeah. You go to sell an iPhone and you end up almost losing your life and your iPhone.
It's way better to risk an Amazon driver's life.
Yeah, all lives matter. So anyway, this is what we see. This is how Amazon finishes off everyone. The world, big data, and the world, when it comes to shipping, when it comes to moving people around, when it comes to deliveries through Grubhub, Uber Eats, that kind of stuff. Guys, the world is run on an algorithm, point A to point B. That's it. That algorithm, I don't even think you can copyright that. Because I remember, when we were looking into what we were doing, I tried to, I looked into to see whether it could be copywritten. You can't copyright it. It's open. It's basically open to any business. So anyone who wants to do a point A to point B application using cell phones can do it. And you don't have to worry about being sued. Amazon has the point A to point B down, and they have the infrastructure, and they have a proven model. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you the proven model here. Okay. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Let's go back to our first slide. This is your proven model. Look at that curve. They are beating two of the biggest players in the world right now at their own game. And when did Amazon start versus UPS and FedEx? These companies are much older than Amazon. And look at what Amazon's doing. Guys, scary stuff, scary times. I know FedEx and UPS are shaking in their boots right now. Walmart is terrified as well. And Target terrified. But they're putting up a fight. But Uber, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, shopping malls who are being bought up at the moment, you guys watch out. Watch out. Amazon is coming for you, and they are going to take your lunch money.
Yep.
They're going to take it. All right. I'm done on this topic. You got any final comments on this, Seiji?
No. I mean, I just want to reiterate, we're living in a changing world. The only constant is change.
That's it. Guys, if you like what you saw, if you like this commentary here on the Seiji Bar, go ahead and please leave us a like. Definitely subscribe for more business commentary and analysis. And guys, we will see you in the next one. Thank you.